Okay, chapter 9, we're going to learn the demonstrative adjectives and a special class of ius adjectives. The demonstrative, adjective, and pronoun are this, these, singular and plural, that, those in English. There are 3 in Latin. There used to be 3 in English. We used to have yon, yonder as a yet another demonstrative in English. We've gotten rid of it except for a few Christmas songs. But this hic, haec, hoc in Latin is the near demonstrative. It's the demonstrative you use to point out something, to pick out something as near to the speaker. Illa, illud is the far demonstrative. And the middle one is ista, often used to pick out something near the interlocutor, near the person being spoken to. So these kind of map on to first, second, and third person. That's a verbal thing. It doesn't really make sense in the context of adjectives. But hic, haec, hoc is near to the speaker. Ista, istud is near the interlocutor. And illa, illud is near the third person. It's somewhere else, right? It's far from both the speaker and the interlocutor. So let's look at these. Here we have our irregular paradigm showing up. These are called ius adjectives because of the genitive singular, right? So the nominatives are going to be a little unpredictable. The nominative is going to be all over the place. Hic for the masculine, illa for the masculine of the far demonstrative, ista. But these ius genitives are going to be consistent. And an interesting and somewhat helpful thing is that the irregular forms, the forms that don't fit the paradigm, which is the genitive singular, and the dative singular, are going to be the same across genders. So you have to memorize a new form. There's ius genitives, there's adjectives that have endings in ius, but note, it's going to be just one form across all 3 genders. So ilius, huius, right? You have the same genitive across all of them. No real way to predict ius as a genitive ending. Probably related to, well, no, I'm not sure. Maybe related to the is genitive singular ending of third declension nouns. I wouldn't put much stock in that, except that the dative has this characteristic I, illi, and huic, right? That I. And that's also true of the third declension. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's there's some deeper relationship there. So genitive singular ius may be related to the is of the third declension genitive singular, and dative singular with a characteristic I, illi, huic. And this will work as we move on to our interlocutory, our near to the other person, the second person demonstrative, right? We again have ius, and eee. Note that the nominative singular has to be memorized. It's different. Ille is not predictable. Hic is not predictable. This will be the same across. Likewise, nothing to predict ista except if you've already memorized illa. Those maybe go together. So there you go. You have to memorize these. These are used as adjectives, and substantively they can function as pronouns, right? So you can have that horse, illo equus, or if we're talking about horses already, maybe I'll just say illa, meaning that one, that particular thing you already know we're talking about. Likewise, hic, this could be this horse, hic equus, or it might be hic, just the one we've already been talking about. And of course, it'll go in all the cases, so it'll match. You are then given a list, I'm actually going to scroll all the way down to the list, of other adjectives that take these ius endings. And there's a sort of quantifiable, they have in common that they've got some relationship to quantification, or maybe, existence, potentially you could say. I think quantification works better. So unus meaning one, nullus meaning none, ullus meaning any, solus meaning only. neuter meaning neither, alius meaning another, uter being either, tutus being entire, and alter being other. These words actually, there's some conceptual link of all of these, and these are words will all behave like unto the ius endings. So when we look at solus as our model, we have solus, solius, soli. Again, ius in the genitive, e in the dative. And again, same across the genders. So you could have solius feminae, of that solitary or singular or only woman, right? So genitive singular is going to look solius with feminae. Likewise, alius here is given to you. Alius has this extra weirdness going on where the genitive gets this stem change. It only happens here in the genitive. Alterius. So watch for those when you do the vocab lists. Watch for stem changes in the genitive. And otherwise, these are 2-1-2 adjectives. Second declension masculines, first declension feminines, second declension neuters, right? Likewise with our demonstratives. Outside of these irregular forms, these are following the second declension masculine, first declension feminine, and second declension neuter.